I had gone to the appointment by myself because I thought it was going to be something really straightforward, and it was not. And so I spent time just driving around Old City, Philadelphia, sobbing. One, because I had cancer, but two, because I knew this boy that I met at summer camp that I loved so much. I was about to really destroy his life. And I also didn't know how I would go home and look in the faces of my children and tell them, these 8 and 10-year-olds that our world had changed forever. We met with the oncologist for the first time, and she spent probably about 20 minutes explaining what a metastatic diagnosis was and where in my body the cancer had spread. She wrote down for my type of breast cancer what the treatment options were and handed me a list. And it was a really short, finite list. The air in the room and time kind of just froze as we sat there, looking at what didn't feel like a lot of options. The cancer was incurable. I would be in treatment forever. After the silence passed for a little bit, then she said, one treatment might work for 6 months to a year, and then you would move on to the next treatment on the list. And, looking at this piece of paper, it was really a terrifying, sobering moment. And then my oncologist said, but this is just the list for today. And there are people in labs working on new drugs. There are patients in clinical trials. There are drugs that are pending FDA approval. And the goal is that you will never get to the end of a list because we will keep adding new treatment options. Knowing that there were people who were, dedicating their whole lives to research so that I could have more time with my family was really just an amazing moment of humanity. Starting 2020 was not a terrible time to be a cancer patient. And then COVID hit. And suddenly, I started hearing and reading that cancer research was really in jeopardy. A 1-year pause in cancer research could mean a whole generation of cancer treatments that don't come to fruition. The first drug that I was put on was actually based on research from 1985. In 1985, I was 9. It's really scary to think that the best and brightest ideas in how we can attack cancer might be sitting on a shelf in a lab somewhere because there wasn't enough funding. It's so important to give to the American Cancer Society because the American Cancer Society is really where research begins for cancer treatments. You're really investing in that research that becomes the next cancer breakthrough. So knowing that this is a time that research is on hold, I would hate to think that we look back on 2020 as a time that we were so affected by COVID and so focused on COVID that we really lost ground in the fight against cancer. I savor every single moment that I have with my husband and my children in a way that I never did before I heard the words cancer. For my husband who, we promised each other a future, when we were 19, this future has been better than I ever could have pictured. To my children, I would say that, everyone tells you there's so much anticipation when you're waiting for your child to be born, and there's so much excitement. And that is the same anticipation I feel every single morning when we walk downstairs. It is the privilege of a lifetime to be